Hello and welcome. This is a new video on our HKCM Global channel. My name is Philip. Today I will be speaking about Ethereum. Yeah, it's been a while, so I think it's a good time to catch up again on what Ethereum is doing at the moment, where we're heading, what are my expectations right now, and has anything changed on my overall perspective, which I think is the most important part going forward. What are my long-term goals here, and how is the short-term picture going to be contributing to the long-term goals? Let's dive right in. I think, as always, let's start out with the overall, the long-term perspective, long-term picture, what I'm seeing here, what I'm expecting, where are we heading. Basically, at the moment, my overall long-term perspective is still that we have not yet completed the correction that Ethereum started back in 21. So hence the lows that have been formed in 22 and also the low that was formed in March of 25 for me are not the lows that I'm expecting for this overall consolidation to have finished and finalized. I'm still expecting things to at some point in the future, so be clear on that. It's not something I'm expecting now or within the next 4 weeks or within the next 2 months. This is something that could take well into 2026 to be completed, but I'm expecting in the long run that Ethereum will have to hit price levels around, again, because we have been there before, but again around 1148 to even 550, although I'm seeing this is highly unlikely that it will go as low as 550, but I'm definitely expecting something in the range of 1148, and ideally it would go, take out the low that we formed in June of 22, which was around 881. If we could take that out once, that would be almost perfect, just to basically clear out the whole structure and build a base for a then long-term very, very bullish outlook I'm having on Ethereum. So just to make it clear, I'm not an Ethereum bear in any case. I'm not long-term expecting the Ethereum price to be in a decline or going to zero or whatever people are making up about what I'm saying. I'm expecting things to be going 5 digits for sure, but not with the current structure and not based on the current lows that we have formed in the past. My intermediate expectation has been now for a while that Ethereum is going to be coming up here around 5,800, 7,300 area, and from there the final washout. With the things that have developed over the past weeks, I do have to question if this is going to happen in the end. So hence my alternative here on the long-term chart would be that the B wave I'm expecting to be completed within this target zone, to maybe already having completed with the rise to the high here that we formed in August, and so we could also be already within a major escalation to the downside, already be on course to reach this zone without further side quests and without a further rise into this target zone. Although at the moment it is clearly my expectation that we haven't finished it and there should be actually more upside to come. But things are getting grimmer here with developments that we have seen over the past weeks. So as I've said before, this is my target zone here on the upside, and now I have another buying zone which is currently between 2749 and 2149. The question now is, will it be able to reach it, and what would have been the other alternatives? I just want to show my old chart, which is no longer being published by us within our service because it's become obsolete. But just to catch up on that, I have had 2 target zones in the past for long entries. This one here and another one over here. Both, they worked out fine. We got out, made some profits. The same here, we got out, little profits, and then the market came back down. When things started to turn down from this high, especially after we failed to take out this high, I have become very, very cautious. I did not go for another target zone, and the way things have developed since, this was the right decision. Why? Because the zone would have been crashed to the downside. This is what happened, and then we also have taken out another the significant level here at a 3357, and things that have been coming up ever since have been mostly corrective overlap chopping, nothing of substance that would give me the edge at the moment to be saying, I'm expecting now this to be in a 5th wave or something comparable here at the moment. So this is why I'm now expecting things to be at least hitting this area down here before I would be willing to take up another long. What has happened so far, we have seen a hit on the 50% retracement, so some price action to the upside occurred, but for me this putting the target zone like that on the chart would have been just too big, because the thing is, now the bigger the target zones become, the more and the deeper we are going within those zones, the more the risk that we don't make it out on the upside. That's why I refrained from making the zone even bigger as it is. And currently I'm evaluating, will I have to make it bigger to the downside, because this is more of a concern for me at the moment. So something that could be possible. And of course, if you have our subscription service, you would be informed about that I might be extending the zone to the downside, or respectively taking off the 618 retracement and just putting it on the charts like that. So that's a decision I will be making over the next few days, depending on how price action is now going to continue here. Looking at the chart here, for me to flip basically to an expectation, make it simple, that for example the B wave would have already been completed with the low here and we would be now flipping to the upside. The least Ethereum has to do now is take out these two highs. Until as long as we stay below those two highs, I have absolutely no reason to be concerned that my targets to the downside will not be reached and we will be flipping upside to the upside again, and would be then capable of reaching targets between 5,800 and 7,326. To put some more perspective on it, let's take a look at the indicators, and let's also take a look at the shorter time frames. So what we've seen since the low, of course, we've been very much so oversold on the lower time frames, 4 hour and then the 8 hour as well. We've seen some recovery, as I've just shown on the chart. Now we've become overbought, we are starting to cross down, we are losing momentum, we've gone back on the short signal here as well. 8 hour starting to form a similar picture, hasn't crossed down yet, but we are basically getting there. It's gone on the short signal as well. So things are looking for further consolidation at the moment. On the other hand, we had the daily also being in the oversold territory. It's been trying to push up, couldn't make it. Actually, we have been going from decreasing negative momentum to increasing it again with today's candle. The thing that concerns me the most is actually the longer term outlook, because ever since the high, we've crossed down on the 4-day, we're coming down, we are building negative momentum, we are on the short signal, and things continue to look not so good if we go out on the further and longer time frames, with the 2-week as being the next major time frame of concern for me at the moment. We are close to crossing down the MACD on the 2-week. We are starting to lose the momentum again, and we have also already gone on the short signal on the long short indicator. Because looking back to March of 25, the 2-week was basically after a little consolidation around the lows here, and then after this candle here, we were able to, with the MACD crossing up, with momentum starting to build into positive, going on the long signal, on the long short indicator here as well, we were able to build up momentum, and then we saw the move to the upside, which was basically this move here, which then lasted into August of 25 of this year. So yeah, those are all signs that are concerning to me. We still have a sort of possible outlook on the monthly, but things are not as clear anymore as they used to be when we were here back in July and then in August, where things started to look really good for Ethereum. We're starting to slow down. We're also seeing the MACD starting to curl back down. Momentum hasn't really been building up. The long short indicator is starting to close in on each other. So we will have to see how things play out. But definitely, especially also with today's price action, the shorter time frames already crossing down again, things are looking that we are continuing the consolidation as I'm expecting. Now for me the question will be over the next few days if I will be able to maintain the target zone as shown for the next possible long entry, or if I will have to make some further adaptations. If I do, then of course we will be communicating this to our subscribers. That's my current outlook on Ethereum. So basically, to sum it all up, I'm, let's say, medium term, short term, I'm staying bearish. Then I'm seeing another perspective for a move to the upside, which will then be the final move before we see a final washout here to complete overall corrective action that's been going on for quite some time. And from there, then possibly in the long run, I'm seeing a major bull run for Ethereum, but this will still take time in my perspective, and this is the most upside I'm currently able to give to Ethereum with the structure we've been building, with current events, and with everything taken into consideration. So as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like, all highly appreciated, and see you next week.